Hey, it's Scott from FamilyWheels.ca with another car review for your growing family. And right now, we're behind the wheel of the all-new, completely redesigned 2019 Nissan Altima. Yeah, for the 6th generation of the car, Nissan have gone through things with a fine-tooth comb, restructuring, redesigning, and re-engineering almost everything. They've also added a bunch of stuff too, including all-wheel drive. Now, when you're thinking about a family vehicle, a sedan isn't necessarily the first choice. Most people go straight to SUV because, let's be honest, the utility and practicality there, kind of undeniable. But maybe you're not most people. We've talked about this before. Maybe you just want something different, or maybe you're like me and you just kind of like the look of a sedan. But the question remains, is the Altima the right sedan? Does it have everything that it takes to meet the needs of you and your growing family? Let's go find out. So let's start with the basics here. In Nissan's lineup of cars, the Altima is second from the top. It sits beneath the Maxima, and then after the Altima comes the Sentra, and then we get smaller down the lineup from there. If you're considering an Altima, you might also be interested in a Mazda 6, a Honda Accord, or a Volkswagen Jetta or Passat. The Altima comes in 4 different trims, starting with the base model S, then the SV, the Platinum, which we're in here, and the top of the line Edition 1. The base model starts in at just under 28 grand Canadian, with this guy, the Platinum, coming in at just under 35,000 Canadian. All models come with the same 2.5 liter 16-valve 4-cylinder, good for 182 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque. Now, it's worth noting here that we're in Canada, but if you're in the States, you can get considerably more in your Altima, specifically a 2-liter variable compression turbo that makes 248 horsepower and 267 pound-feet of torque. It's a pretty trick motor. We saw this variable compression technology in the Infiniti QX50, and I thought it was really cool, but since we can't get that obviously more desirable engine here in Canada, we'll be talking about what is available here, and yeah, sadly, for now at least, we're stuck with the one option. So, Nissan says to expect 8.1 liters for 100 kilometers, and in our real-world testing, we averaged just slightly above that, 8.4 liters for 100 kilometers, which works out to 28 US miles per gallon, which it's pretty good economy. All the models here in Canada come with a CVT transmission and all-wheel drive, which I think right out of the gate is a really big plus for this car. I recently reviewed a comparable model in the Mazda 6, and I really liked it, but the one thing I thought could have made it better would be an all-wheel drive version. So well done to you, Nissan. It's a definite perk and something that I think will be a big difference maker for people who are torn between this and an SUV. Knowing that you have all 4 wheels powered underneath you gives you confidence when road conditions get dicey, and it's definitely something that I would want for my family. From here, there's all the options you'd expect and want: LED headlights, power moonroof, intelligent cruise control, a Bose premium audio system, which we've seen in other Nissan products, and yes, it sounds awesome. The Altima also has Nissan's Pro Pilot Assist, which I kind of describe as like a step towards autonomous driving. The car's not driving itself or anything, but there's stuff in here that makes the experience easier for the driver. Like the lane keeping assist feature, it'll let you know when the car's starting to drift out of the lane, but I love the way that it does it. It's just a slight vibration through the steering wheel, no loud beeping or anything that's going to annoy your passengers or maybe wake up kids in the back. And also the cruise control is fantastic. It'll maintain the speed that you're going even in traffic, speed the car up, slow it down, and it can even stop in stop and go traffic as well. Very cool stuff. The interior in the Altima is fairly standard fare, but I think that's actually a good thing. It strikes a great balance between being purpose-built, but also something that you can enjoy being in. The seats are great, super comfortable. Driver's side gets 8-way power adjustable, passenger is 4-way, and they're heated, as is the steering wheel. There's a decent amount of room throughout, what you'd expect from a midsize. The cup holders and storage in the console is great too for the size of the car. Moving on to the back seats, same story, right on point for a mid-size sedan. Decent enough room for adults on normal length trips. Kids wouldn't have any issues back here. Infotainment system here in the Altima is surprisingly good. Like, I didn't think it was gonna be bad or anything, but it's way better than I expected. I say this because I've tested other Nissan products before and found the systems there left me a bit wanting, but this one was actually really great. Well-sized screen, bright and colorful and easy to read and very easy to navigate. Finding what you want was quick and easy. Everything was really responsive, which is huge for me. And of course, I loved that in addition to the touchscreen and the well laid out steering wheel controls, the Altima also has real tactile buttons for all the functions here, which is so great. The climate control is the same. It's well laid out and super easy to read and use. In terms of user friendliness, this system is at the top of the game. Again, well done, Nissan. Give us the options we want and let us determine how we best want to use them. All right, now let's run through some of our standardized testing. Decibel test, the Altima came in at 64 decibels at 100 kilometers an hour, and that was on dry roads. Rear-facing car seat test was great for the size of the car. We have 29 inches from the back of the front passenger seat to the glove box, and mounting the seat was so easy. Like, again, this is some of the best we've seen. It's a barely noticeable system until you need it, and then you just flip up this Velcroed panel on the seat and you get direct access to the latches. Super awesome and convenient for parents. In our standardized trunk test, we can fit everything we need in here. That's a stroller, diaper bag, backpack, 2 bags of groceries, and a football. But from here, it gets a bit tight. You wouldn't be able to squeeze much else that was big in here unless you folded down the rear seats, which brings us to a point of contention for me in the Altima, in that the seats don't exactly fold flat. Like, they do lay down flat, but unfortunately they're not level with the floor in the trunk. So sliding anything in here from the back becomes a problem since you'll hit the hump where the folded seats lay. I also was a little underwhelmed by the size of the opening between the folded seats and the trunk. Just wish it was a little bigger. And finally, the all-important look back test. So I think the Altima is a decent looking car, especially with these 19-inch rims that our test model comes with. I especially like it from the back where we see these dual exhaust tips, but otherwise it's just kind of okay for me. I'm a sedan guy, I like the 4 doors, but something about the Altima just feels a little off to me. I'm not sure what it is. I like the grille, but I also wish that it matched the color of the car, and same with these door handles. But again, I get that that's a personal taste thing. I suppose it's a good enough looker, but there's nothing about it that really makes it jump out and grab your attention. It's a pass for me. Satisfactory in the looks department. Drive-wise, it's not bad, but it's also not exactly amazing. As I mentioned before, here in Canada, we don't get the option for the VC turbo motor, which I would have loved. The car does drive well though, and it handles quite nicely with that all-wheel drive, but stepping on the gas doesn't light any fires. There is a sport button on the transmission, but I found that all it really did for me was keep the engine revving higher. No real noticeable difference in the drive. Again, comfortable, but not exciting. Kind of follows the theme here, right? So all in all, I think the Altima is probably the right choice for a family that's not overly concerned with things like spirited driving, but is more interested in good looks, decent enough utility, and good value. It's comfortable and spacious and has a lot of little creature comforts and stuff without being over the top. I guess I would say that it has everything you need and nothing that you don't. I don't think I could see myself loving this car day in and day out, but I'd certainly appreciate it. It'll probably take good care of you and yours for a long time to come. Hey, if you liked the video, give us a like or a subscribe or leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. And join us next week when I'll be reviewing the brand new all-electric Jaguar I-Pace. Really excited about that one. For FamilyWheels.ca, I'm Scott.